Dear student, today we are going to discuss one of the important topics of sociology, and that is industry and labor. We know that this industry and labor topic is very vast topic, but we try to summarize in briefly meaning of and concept of industry, what type of industry develop in India before independence and after independence. We know that all due to acceleration of industrialization, many industrial setup or organization developed in India. Similarly, due to electrification, due to automatization, due to computerization, many industries developed in India. So what type of industries are there in India? And the important part of industry is labor. So what labor is? What type of trade unions develop in India to solve the problems of workers in industrial setup, and what government enacted laws or schemes for welfare of the workers. We try to discuss all the part in this discussion. In India, where agriculture is most important occupation. For this, we have already discussed agrarian classes in Indian society, which has its own important role and has many problems of its own. We have discussed in detail about the different classes of farmers and their characteristics. Even today, most of the population in rural areas is associated with agriculture or agricultural related business. On the other hand, industry is also another important sector of economic production. Today we are going to discuss about the industry, and the relation with industry is labor. Now we discuss about the concept of industry, different types of industry, and also discuss in detail about the workers associated with the industry. When we talk about different types of industries in India, we also focus on its historical development, how various types of tools and technological advances helped to develop modern industries in the post-colonial period. Industrial development started in India from the British period, when the British brought their technology to India like railway, post and telegraph, etc. Workers also came to work in these industrial establishments. Since then, the unbreakable relationship between industry and labor developed. How initially most of the factory workers, mill workers, came from the neighboring district and areas. Later, due to the dissemination of information, that is diffusion of information, people from remote areas of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, etc. started migrating to different states where these factories or industries required more labor force. For example, of textile mills in Gujarat, etc., and then the origin of trade unions in India. Finally, we discuss about labor welfare measures and legislation, and also discuss various types of schemes provided for the laborers. When we talk about the concept of industry, what industry means? Industry can be defined as the manufacture of goods on a large scale, collectively in well-organized plants with a high degree of automation and specialization. Although it is a general concept of industry, but it can also include other business activities that provide services like agriculture, transportation, hospitality, and so on. The Industrial Dispute Act 1947 defines industry as any business, trade, undertaking, manufacture, or calling or vocation. In English means the job or occupation of a person, that is teacher or doctor, which includes any service, employment, handicraft or industrial occupation or occupation of worker, is known as the industry. In other words, we can say that an industry is a group of manufacturers of business that produce a particular type of goods or services. People in the textile industry design, manufacture and sell clothing. When we talk about the textile unit, from blow room to packing, different departments are there and many workers, skilled as well as unskilled laborers, are working there. The first part is known as blow room, then blow room to sizing, spinning, weaving, designing and packing also. This is the whole unit known as textile unit. Similarly, the tourism industry includes all commercial aspects of tourism. Further, we can say that industry to refer to a group of similar businesses. The automobile industry manufactures car and car parts. The food service industry prepare foods and deliver it to the hotels, schools and other large facilities. Industry meaning labor, hard work and the work is still used with that meaning. If you build a house in 3 weeks, while the same job takes everyone else 3 months, you are showing impressive industry. So, what types of industries develop in India? When we talk about the types of industries, so industry group of productive enterprises or organization or setup that produce or supply goods, services or source of income. In economics, industries are generally classified as primary industry, secondary industry, tertiary industry and quaternary industry. Secondary industries are further classified as heavy industries or light industries. So, when we discuss about different types of industries, we can say primary industry means those industries which extract raw material, which are natural products from land or sea, oil, iron, ore, timber, mining, quarrying, fishing, forestry and farming. All these are examples of primary industries. It can be divided into 2 categories. One is genetic industry, which involves the production of raw materials that can be enhanced by human intervention in the production process, and extractive industries, which involves the production of exhaustible raw material that cannot be increased through farming. Genetic industries include agriculture, forestry and livestock, management and fishing, all of which are subject to scientific and technological improvement of renewable resources. Extractive industries include mining of mineral ores, quarrying of stone and extraction of mineral fuels. This is known as primary industry, genetic and extractive. Similarly, secondary industry, sometimes referred to as manufacturing industries. These industries involve the manufacture of raw materials by manual labor or machines to manufacture products such as soap, clothing, toys, etc. Secondary industries often use assembly line production like a car factory. A good example is the conveyor belt system, first introduced by the Ford car companies in the US to produce car here. This leads to the alienation of the industrial laborers on the one hand and on the other hand to the capitalist owners. Such industrial production can be seen as the rise of a new industrial society. This sector, also called manufacturing industries, takes raw material supplied by primary industries and processes them into consumer goods, or further processes goods that other secondary industries have turned into products, or manufactures capital goods that are used for the manufacture of consumer and non-consumer goods. Secondary industries include energy producing industries that is hydroelectric power industries as well as manufacturing industries. Secondary industries can be divided into heavy or large scale, and second is light or small scale industry. Large scale industry typically requires heavy capital investment in plant and machinery, serves as a large and diverse market including other manufacturing industries, has a complex industrial organization or setup and often a skilled specialized labor force, and has a large volume production. Examples include petroleum refining, steel and iron manufacturing, motor vehicle and heavy machinery manufacturing, cement production, non-ferrous metal refining, meat packing and hydroelectric power generations are included in heavy or large scale industry. Similarly, on other hand, the light or small scale industry may be categorized by the non-durability of manufactured products and a small capital investment in a plant and equipment, and may include non-standard products such as customized or craft work. The labor force can be either low skilled as in textile manufacturing and clothing manufacturing, food processing and plastic manufacturing, or highly skilled as in electronics and computer hardware manufacturing, gem cuttings and crafts work. This is known as the secondary industry. The third is tertiary industries, sometimes referred to as service industries. These industries neither produce raw material nor make any products. Instead, they provide services to people and industries. Tertiary industries may include services such as finance, insurance, investment and real estate services, wholesale, retail and resale business, transportation, professional, consultancy, legal and personal services, tourism, hotel, restaurants and entertainments, repair and maintenance services, and health, social welfare, administrative, police, security and defense services. All these are included in tertiary industries. The fourth is quaternary industry. These industries include the use of high-tech industries. The people who work for these companies are often highly qualified in their field. Like the tertiary sector, it involves a mix of private and government efforts. Industries and activities in this sector includes information system and information technology, that is IT, research and development, including technological development and scientific research, financial and strategic analysis and consulting, media and communication, technology and services, and education, including teaching and educational technology and services. Research and development companies are the most common types of business in this sector. The fifth is quinary. These industries include those that control industrial and government decision making process. These includes industry executive, management, bureaucrats and elected officials in government. That is also included in industry. Policies and laws are formulated and implemented at this level. They enacted the laws, they developed the laws, they developed the schemes for the industries and for the laborers are included in the fifth type of industries. The second part of this topic is labor. The first part is industry. What type of industries are there? That is primary, secondary, tertiary or any others. The second part is labor. Labor is one of the important parts of industries. Without labor, industry cannot develop. Hence, laborers are known as the most important elements of industries. In common parlance, labor means physical labor. But in economics, the word labor has been defined in a wider sense. In economics, any physical and mental work done from an economic point of view is called labor. According to Thomas, all kinds of human labor, whether physical or mental, which is done with the hope of getting some reward, is called labor. That may be in kind or in cash. In the words of Marshall, labor refers to the economic activities of man, whether they are physical or mental. According to Jevons, labor is that physical activity which is done partly or wholly by some economic purpose and not just for the pleasure of the work. According to Pigou, that labor or service which can be measured by money is called labor. In the context of world, India is considered to be an emerging economy by the employment situation in the country still remains very bad. Overall, the labor force of population ratio in the age group 15 years and above is as low as 56% in India, compared to about 64% for the rest of the world. The low participation in India is mainly because the female labor force participation rate is less than 31%, which is one of the lowest in the world and second lowest in the South Asia. In India, even today, about half of the population is directly or indirectly engaged in agriculture. The reason for this is the low level of industrialization and jobless growth in India. That's why very few people get employment in the formal sector, that is in industrial sector. About 92% of workers in India today are engaged in the informal sector of employment, and most of them have limited income or no social security, that is lack of social security. This is also true for a substantial proportion of workers in the organized sector. More than half of the workers are self-employed, whose condition is very pathetic. About 25% are daily wage workers who are in search of employment on a daily basis, sometimes getting work, sometimes not. About 20% of those employed are regular workers and less than 10% of those who have full-time regular employment with social security. Most of the workers in India are in informal jobs. Majority of them are either vegetable vendors or tea shop owners, etc. Changes are also seen in the field of agriculture. In just a few years, construction has employed more workers than any other sectors. Mostly, they are unskilled workers. Most of the new jobs created in the formal sectors are actually informal, as the workers do not have access to employment benefits or social security such as pension or Medicare, etc. This is a serious situation. Apart from this, even today, there is a difference in the status of women and men workers. Women are getting less amount in comparison to their counterparts, though Equal Remuneration Act has been enacted by government. Even then, in unorganized sector, women are getting less amount of wages compared to men. Human activities that generates income are recognized as economic activities. Economic activities are broadly organized into primary, secondary and tertiary activities. These are further classified as an organized and unorganized sector of job position. The organized sector is registered with the relevant body or administration and follows its legal requirement. On the other hand, unorganized sector can be defined as a sector which is not established with the government and hence does not have to follow any regulation. While the former refers to major operations such as enterprises, government and industry, the latter includes smaller operations such as small business, private corporation, etc. etc. The organized sector is one in which the condition of works are fixed and the consistent and the workers are guaranteed work. The unorganized is one which the labor system is not fixed and consistent and business are not regulated by the government. Workers in the organized sectors are paid monthly wages, while in unorganized sector this is not the situation. When we talk about the workers, one of the important part associated with worker is trade union. Trade union has been developed for the benefits, for the interest of the workers. In the modern era, every sphere of life has become extremely complex. The strong are constantly striving to usurp the weak. In the field of industries, capitalists are always ready to exploit the workers. As a result of the weakness of the workers, the necessity of labor organization appeared. All due to this situation, a new trend has been developed and that is known as labor organization or known as trade union organization. These trade unions protect the interest of the laborers and free them from the exploitation of the capitalist. Many scholars have given definition of labor unions. According to Webs, a labor union is a permanent association of workers, the purpose of which is to maintain and improve the working condition. Karl Marx is of the opinion that the trade union is in fact the focal point of the organization of the proletariat, that is capitalist. Former Prime Minister of India, Mr. V.V. Giri, is of the opinion trade unions are voluntary organizations to organize all workers formed to promote and protect the economic interest of collective action. It is clear from these definitions that trade unions are such organizations formed by the workers on their own initiative, whose ultimate objective is to protect the interest of the workers. More broadly about trade unions, we can say that trade unions of workers represents the workers to protect their interest. For the welfare of the laborers, for the interest of the workers, this organization has been developed in India. They act as a link between the workers and the industrial establishment. They provide an institutional basis for the workers to have their say. They represent an organized way of protest to defend their interest. They give direction to the workers' protest in a disciplined manner. They are the essential bargaining body of workers in organized trades. It is also in the employer's interest that union membership be as broad as possible. They are associated with the economic progress of the country. These are the functions of the trade union. The trade union movement in India was born after the end of World War I. When there was an outbreak of industrial strike, the first association was started in Madras, that is known as Chennai, in 1918. It was known as the Madras Textile Union. Similarly, in 1920, also the All India Trade Union Congress was established as a central organization of labor. Union of Workers got encouragement from ILO, that is International Labour Organization. After independence, unemployment was increasing in the country and workers were facing many problems, and workers had high expectation from the national government to provide services to the workers to get higher wages, better condition and facilities. The workers found it necessary to fight even harder to maintain what they had achieved earlier. Today, many labor organizations have, that is trade unions, have been developed in India, which are basically making continuous effort for the problems of laborers. Some of these organizations are as follows: All India Central Council of Trade Unions, All India Trade Union Congress, All India United Trade Union Center, Indian Labour Union, Center of Indian Trade Unions, Indian National Trade Union Congress, Labour Progressive Federation, National Front of Indian Trade Unions, Self-Employed Women's Association, Trade Union Coordination Center, United Trade Union Congress. With the help of all these trade unions, ultimately central as well as state government has enacted many welfare schemes for the betterment of the laborers or to improve the condition of the laborers. This is known as labor welfare. The concept of labor welfare is so broad that many meanings are understood by it. In the initial stage of industrial development, labor welfare means voluntary facilities provided by the employers to the workers. According to the Royal Labour Commissions, the term labor welfare will necessarily be flexible. Its meaning also varies from country to country according to different social and educational development and the level of industrialization. It includes all facilities other than wages, which is helpful in the physical, mental and social progress of the workers. It constitutes provision for improving the social conditions of labor, safety, health, well-being and industrial productivity. Generally, labor welfare work can be divided into 5 categories as given below: statutory provisions given by various statutory laws enacted by the central government, welfare measures given by state government agency, welfare measures provided by the employers, welfare measures forced by trade unions and various welfare activities conducted by voluntary social agencies. For the benefit and facilities of the workers, the central and state government has also enacted various laws and schemes set up to provide social security and welfare of specific categories of workers. The following are the most important social security laws enacted: the Employees Compensation Act 1923, the Employees State Insurance Act 1948, the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1953, the Maternity Benefit Act 1961 and the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. As part of labour law reforms, the government took steps to draft 4 wages code: industrial relations, social security and welfare and safety and working conditions respectively, by amalgamating and rationalizing the relevant provision of the existing 44 central labour laws. These are for the welfare of the laborers who are working in the industrial organization. So, we can summarize, we can say that the 2 important part of industrialization, that is, one is industry and second is labor. Both are directly or indirectly associated with each other. So, we can talk about the relationship between the industry and labor. First of all, we discuss what is industry, how many types of industries have developed, what kinds of problems are there in them. In the course of industrial development in India, in what conditions are the laborers working today? Along with this, workers who are in an important part of industrial establishment have their own problems, and to solve these problems, labor organizations or trade unions have been formed from time to time. Through these labor organizations, the workers keep agitating for the fulfillment of their demands in the industrial sector. As a result of these labor organizations or trade unions, the government has also made many laws to improve the conditions and directions of the workers. Along with this, Many schemes have also been implemented for their security and welfare. So these are the two important concepts known as industry as well as labor.